Central banks around the world have purchased U.S. debt at increasing rates over the years, supporting the U.S. economy and its desire to continuously consume. Simultaneously, countries are able to export their currencies outside of their borders, keeping the value of their currencies down. Today, the tables have turned. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get into central banks having the biggest U.S. debt sell-off since 1978. This is huge news happening right now, and I'll tell you, in fact, what they are getting into. Let's look at this article first. Out of CNN, global central banks are unloading America's debt. In the first 6 months of this year, foreign central banks sold a net $200 billion of U.S. Treasury bonds, more than double the pace in the same period last year. So what are they doing? What are they buying? What are they getting into? And some of the countries involved in this are China, Japan, France, Brazil, and Colombia, leading the pack of countries dumping the U.S. debt. And we know we've been tracking exactly what China has been doing. Obviously, they are the biggest buyer of U.S. debt, so we need to really pay close attention to what they do, all their daily activities. It's the largest sell-off in U.S. debt since at least 1978, according to the Treasury Department. Net selling of U.S. notes and bonds this year date through June is historic. We need to remember that, because when you see big changes happen, it's crucial. I mean, all those little incremental things that we see as the days go by are important. But when you have historic changes, that's when we need to really understand the brevity. Look at this right here. As we see, data from the World Gold Council showed that central banks scooped up a net 45 tons of gold during the first quarter. Central banks have been dumping U.S. debt in exchange for gold. They want the safety and security of gold. They did this before, and they're doing it again. Of course, I don't like the way that it's all done, as if they sell so much of it back into the market when they think that everything is okay again. But this is ultimately what they're doing, and we can see a bigger picture forming. Looking at this, of the buyers, Russia, China, and Kazakhstan were the most active in the market, Capital Economics says. As for why the central banks are buying, here's a research firm. The primary driver of central banks' gold buying continues to be diversification away from the US dollar, with some also looking for a hedge against currency volatility more generally. And this is the truth. As we have seen diversification out of the US dollar, what do they want? Well, they want a safe haven. And that safe haven is provided to them with gold. At least that's what they think. And this has been something that central banks have done for long periods of time. Governments, in fact, have been purchasing gold as a safe haven. In fact, for those who don't know, gold used to be money. That's right. So you would have a lot of gold in the bank, but now we are struggling to scrape by any sense of any gold left over. This is what we see, and this is like the mainstream media version of how much gold these countries have. You can see the United States with a fictional 33%. That's interesting. The IMF, who may in fact be the backing of the next monetary system, just throwing it out there, at 11%, probably not real at all. And then you have countries like China with 7%, although some suggest that they have a lot more. There's really no hard evidence, or let's just say they haven't come out and say that at all. But look at the US on the opposite end of that. The way that this gold manipulation works is that they use leased gold, paper gold, lease it out onto the market, sell it off, sell basically things that they do not own, and they can actually push the price down. They can still claim that they have it even though they don't. It's a huge crime. Out of Forbes, if you really want to know which way the gold price is likely to move over the next few years, look no further than recent activity from the world's central banks. They're buying. And that's a fact. When you look at what happened, the price hit nearly $1,000 an ounce. They snapped up, the central banks snapped up a near record amount of gold. Yes, the price did come down nearly 40%. And that's huge. Anybody who was shaken out of that trade is really suffering. But you should not be selling any of your precious metals. Those who are on here know that truth. Do not sell your precious metals. Keep them, and you will see how it all plays out in the end. In display of canny investing that would have pleased Warren Buffett, central banks from Russia, China, Malaysia, and even Kazakhstan were quietly bolstering their gold positions. Central banks add nearly 500 tons of gold. That's a big number, and you need to realize that central banks, so you as an individual, you can go to the bank, you can get your gold and do what you need to for your family. But ultimately, to manipulate the price of gold up or down, assuming that it was actually a real market, you need this amount of gold to really move it. And we're talking about hundreds of tons here, and the central banks are doing so right now. That definitely affects the supply and demand fundamentals for precious metals, and this is important to watch in the foreseeable future. Let's move on to the next article right here. Last but not least, as you look at this, the World Gold Council, I'm on the central bank's page, but ultimately I just wanted to let you know that if you want to know about gold, you must check out the World Gold Council. Sign up for the newsletter, it's totally free, and they send you any pertinent info on gold. They do have a quarterly report that comes to you again for free, and I believe it's key, and it tells you all of the supply and demand, exactly how it's working at this time. It's really important. Just go to gold.org. Check them out if you want to know about that. Last but not least, if you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. And if you found it informative, then you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. Just head over to Amazon. They have a look inside feature. It's going to allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care. Now, if you're still here, just wanted to say, and I'm thinking maybe once in a while to do a little rant at the end of this videos, so all those who want to just shut it off can. And have you noticed a lot of the individuals, not going to name any names, individuals out there who do financial videos or maybe stuff on politics or anything else, they use these unrealistically sensational headlines, which I've been accused of, but I disagree. But it's mega critical ultra alert, mega critical super critical alert, critical alert, and then it has like one relevant word to the actual video. And when I choose a title, I may sit there for sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes to try and not lie about what the video is about. If it's global economic collapse, it better actually be showing how everything is collapsing, not necessarily my opinion on something. And you got to use those. Collapse is an overused word, really, truly. It's just thrown in there, and I'm seeing a lot of this mega critical alert and everything like this. And you know what? That's clickbait. That gets more views. But what about the bigger picture? What about who we are trying to help here? You as an individual, you need to do your part for the greater good, for whether that's you, yourself, for your family. When you help yourself out, I assure you, you're helping everyone else at the same time. My goal for this, for everything that I'm doing here with YouTube, with everything else, is to educate the maximum amount of people. I want to make a video entirely about this, but let me just say it. I want to have books, financial books, for all ages of people. I want to have all kinds of different books, kids books, adult books, everything else. I want to have audiobooks available. I want to have books, ebooks available, and I'm working on that now. I already have some of that. I want YouTube videos that people can come to for absolutely free and learn about every single topic. What is a bond? What is a stock? How does the stock market work? How does central banks work? How does the banking system work? How do currencies work? How do they get manipulated? Everything. You go to the eCourse, you'll be able to see everything. And I'm working on that slowly, but it's taking time. And people will just be able to learn everything in the video formats for free. And then if they want really detailed programs, or they want something that's in a nice package, then they could buy the book like The Money GPS, for example. But I want to be able to totally create a platform for everyone to come to and have this information available. One-stop shop for all your financial needs, whether that's books, audiobooks, free videos, or anything else. That's my personal goal, and I hope that I'm doing my part to help out the public, and I'll do whatever I can. If you appreciate that, please let me know. Please give me a thumbs up every single time if you can. I'd also like to know what you think about this whole mega critical ultra alert business. I think is really hurting individuals like myself or any of the others out there who are just trying to educate. That's all. Take care.